Hello.
Hello, Derek. It's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you very much. It's fantastic to speak with you, and thank you very much for your time today.
Nice. My pleasure. Thank you for calling.
Pleasure indeed. We're absolutely thrilled that you're touring Australia and New Zealand this April and May, but firstly, congratulations on Pinnacle of Bedlam.
Thank you so much, man. That's awesome. We look forward to getting down and killing it down there, man. I think that's probably one of our favorite territories to play, and just great people, tons of enthusiasm. The venues are all killer. It's like we're fortunate enough to see a lot of parts of the world, and Australia really just kills it. Australia, New Zealand, awesome, man. We love it down there.
Oh, fantastic to hear that we give you that sort of reception. That's brilliant. Pinnacle of Bedlam is your second release through Nuclear Blast, and it's an absolutely fantastic achievement. But I found it gave me the desire to go back to listen to Blood Oath again. How do these albums differ for the band?
I think they're very different. It's interesting. I don't want to say that one member can really change the style of a record, but when we did a drummer swap, that's the main difference you're going to see from Blood Oath to Pinnacle is the difference of Mike Smith behind the kit and Dave Colross behind the kit, and both fantastic drummers, real inspiration to work with both of them, from my perspective, and they're just absolutely such different players that, for me, that's the biggest difference from the records, is Mike's groove and his blasting and stuff versus Dave's speed, and both just super killer drummers. But I think that's going to be the biggest thing, other than maybe production. You're going to get a little different songwriting, with Smith being in the band. He was writing some of the material, and then you take him out of it, and then, Dave's going to go a little bit faster, but Dave isn't writing the material, so you're going to see different contributions. So it's definitely based on that position change, from my opinion. That's the main difference between those records.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, because it is a huge progression. There's no two ways about it. You personally joined the band back in 2004. Were you a fan of Suffocation beforehand? That's an odd-sounding question, isn't it? Do you like Suffocation?
No, it's an awesome question because it's such an interesting story for me because, growing up in California, I played in bands like Disgorge and Deeds of Flesh and stuff, and Suffocation was by far the best band. We saw Morbid Angel come to town. We saw Napalm Death and Cannibal Corpse and Gorguts and, just everybody would come to town, Deicide, Obituary, and when Suffocation came to town, they fucked everyone up. And it was the coolest thing in the world because I became friends with those guys. And, we were hanging out a long time ago, hanging out with these guys 20 years ago and 20-something years ago. And then, when the band decided to get back together, I was currently, at that time, I was playing with Glenn Benton and Dave Suzuki and Tim Young and Tony Lazzaro in Vital Remains. And I was doing the Dechristianized stuff. We had just done the Decrepit Birth record, Tim Young and I, and Tim asked me to come and play with Vital. And all of a sudden, we get offered to play the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I hear Suffocation is reforming. And I was so excited because Suffocation was the best band, from the 90s. And sure enough, when they got back together, and they pulled me aside at that festival, and they were like, yo, man, you want to play with us? And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. This is like, your favorite. It's like your favorite supermodel wants to marry you, and she's filthy rich.
Oh, so beautifully put.
So, like, it was really like when I first moved to New York and I first started doing it, I would wake up in New York and I would just be like, holy shit, this is not a dream. This is real. I was like, for the longest time, I would wake up and I'd be like, holy shit, why am I so cold? I'm being in San Diego, California, and now I'm in freezing cold fucking New York. And the next thing you know, I'm like going, holy shit, this is a dream come true in a very literal sense. And it's been, over 1,000 worldwide shows and a bunch of records. And, now that I'm doing like a lot of the writing, it just feels really, really good. I feel like it's really, I've earned my place with the most brutal band in the scene.
Absolutely. Oh, brilliantly put. I don't think I've ever seen or heard such a brutally fast and skillful bass player, and you don't miss a step. How have you developed this skill?
You know what? I've always been really driven to step up. A lot of bass players in the entire world just kind of hang out and hide in the mix, and, they want to be there, but, it was always about the guitar player or, the singer being flashy or the guitar player being flashy. And, I never wanted to be, just stand out visually or anything, but, to really be a player, and to really stand out as a musician. My father's a classically trained pianist, so there was a lot of precision in the musicianship, in my household growing up as a young child. So, when it was time for me to play an instrument, at first I started out, I really liked the drums. I played a little bit of piano with my father, and then, I wanted to be a guitar player, because I listened to Slayer and, Napalm Death is when that started crossing over, and all of a sudden it was like, man, the guitar is so killer. It's real heavy and it's aggressive, and, Slayer was really my main right-hand man when I was growing up as a teenager playing guitar. And then when all of a sudden, I switched over to bass, I was like, you know what, I really want to step out. I want to step above and really stand out and, play this instrument and, make this instrument become part of me, not just, hide in the background with a puffy, boring sound. I really wanted to have a really grindy, stabbing tone and, really become one with the instrument. And that was, the goal that I've always, been shooting for.
Absolutely, and I can reflect that statement with the knowledge that I know so many bass players that are just inspired by you and they want to lift their game all the time and be part of the act. What advice would you give to aspiring bands?
You know what, I always say, and it's, something that's been passed down to me, and if I have the opportunity, I want to pass it down. And, what I'm saying is when you're young, and you've got a lot of free time, and I don't care, you don't necessarily have to be young, and you might not have a lot of free time, but from what I've gathered and what I remember about being young and really wanting to strive to become a better player and to stand out, and to really be the best that one can be. And, I don't know if we're all created equal, but everyone can really, the more you put in, the more you get out. So, while you got that free time, put as much as time and energy as you can into caring about what you're doing. A lot of people just go through the motions. Yeah, I'm going to go to band practice, whatever. I'm going to get drunk. And, hey, that's great. Go have all the beers you want. But, to really focus on what it is you're trying to do. If you're just going through the motions, you're not going to stick with it. But, if you really want to, achieve certain goals and you really want to get on these stages and you really want to get on these recordings and you really want your ability to grow as a musician, you take advantage of your free time and you put everything you've got into it. And, if you can really put your heart into it and really think about what it is you're trying to do, not just like, oh, I wonder why I'm not getting good. You go, wait a minute, this is what it takes to get good. I got to spend a lot of time with my craft, and I got to really get my right hand up to speed, and I really got to get my left hand up to speed, and then I got to understand the micro timing of this. And, it really is about putting your heart into it, putting all of your energy and any free time that you have, focused free time, when you can really channel your energy toward a common goal for yourself. And if that's getting better or, writing something that's sick or, getting together with the guys that inspire you, that you can in turn inspire, and the cycle continues and grows. It's just really about putting your heart into it and not letting anything get in the way, other than the stuff that, is going to get in the way no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And even your words are inspiring me to pick up a bass.
Do it, brother, do it.
I love your turn of phrase, if all were created equal, but it seems to me Suffocation has no equal. You're often described as the heaviest band on the planet ever. Would you agree?
That's awesome. You know what? There's a lot of really, really heavy bands out there. And, for me, with the complexity that Suffocation plays with, I feel like we are extremely heavy by contrast. A lot of these bands will play heavy the whole time, where you got a lot of bands that'll play fast and technical the whole time, where Suffocation tries to get a perfect blend of contrast. If we can play technical, but where right when they think, oh, my God, I don't understand what the fuck's going on, boom, we hit them with a big, catchy, heavy slam. So having that contrast and, you know, being able to play slow then fast and then complicated then simple, you know, having the ability, you know, to have the dynamic range and the contrast. That's what makes Suffocation a heavy band, because we don't just play heavy the whole time. You know, we'll drop into a really heavy part from something that was not as heavy, so the heavy part has more depth and dimension.
Sure, and the last two albums really reflect that beautifully. Abomination Reborn from Suffocation is a terrific track. I get more and more out of it every time I listen, accompanied by an excellent video clip. Was it exciting to make?
That was really fun, man. That was super fun. You know, anytime we can get anybody that has other visions and other ideas, you know, it's an awesome thing. You know, especially, when someone like that wanted to put something into it, we're just like, you know what, we're going to go with it. You know, we listen to suggestions of, you know, people that have referred to us, and, you know, thank you so much for enjoying the track. It's one that we love playing live, and it's a fun track. And, man, we just go with it, you know.
It's brilliant. It comes across beautifully in the video clip too. 2004 must seem like a lifetime ago for you. What keeps you going? Is it the consistent album production, the live shows? What is it for you personally?
I think the thing that I enjoy the most is the live performance. You know, when you get there and you feel the energy of the crowd, and, you know, it's so satisfying, you know, when you feel that coming across, that live energy. And to be honest, you know, more and more lately, I've been enjoying the studio, and I used to hate the studio. And I think in the last couple records, you know, I'm starting to get more and more feeling like, you know, I'm in control here. Where, you know, when you first enter the studio, you go, oh, fuck, you know, this doesn't feel right. You know, it's like, you know, the awkwardness of when you're a teenager and you're trying to sweet talk some chick, you know, and you're talking to some Sheila, and the next thing you know, she, you know, makes you feel funny. Well, you know, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it. You know, and recording, you got to imagine recording now all of a sudden is like, you know, now you got to perform with this woman in front of a bunch of strangers, and there's cameras and lights and shit on you. So, you know, it's one of those things where you get more and more comfortable. funny way to relate to it, but, you know, you do get more comfortable with it. And then, like I said, lately I've been really enjoying the studio process, and but for me, it's definitely the live aspect. We're a live band. You know, fortunately, you know, we're capturing the energy on these albums, you know, in the productions, but it's definitely a live show. You know, that's where we get our energy.
Oh, magnificent. And thank you very much for that lapse into the Australian vernacular with Sheila.
You know it. You know it. Sick cunt.
Look, I hope this doesn't sound like a cliched question. It's very difficult to compare your skills to any contemporary artist. Have you had any particular artist inspire you personally over the years?
You know, the best guys out there, I'm so fortunate I'm friends with these guys. And, you know, Alex Webster is an absolute animal. He's such a great guy, and, you know, he's just a cool guy, and he's such a sick player. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, like, Steve DiGiorgio is an absolute animal. Let's see who else out there. Tony Choi, super sick. You know, there's a lot of guys. I'm really fortunate, you know, to be able to look around and see these guys actually, you know, and get to see these guys play, and, you know, get to talk to these guys from time to time, and, you know, some of them more than others. But there's a lot of really good players out there. But I'd say, you know, being able to talk with Alex and, you know, see him play a lot and, you know, play shows with those guys, he's probably my biggest influence because, you know, he's just such a sick player, such a great guy. And, you know, I've always looked up to him. And, you know, being able to be friends with a guy that, you know, inspires you, it just really brings a connection into this thing where it's like, wow, man, this whole universe has got a plane, you know, that we can all be on and enjoy each other as inspiration and friends and learn from each other. You know, it's just such a great position to be in this day and age right now.
Absolutely. What a beautiful dimension to add to the relationship. Magnificent. Would you say there is a song particularly which prompts a really satisfying audience reaction for you? Is there one particular track that really does it?
You know, that's tough, man. You know, we got a lot of really, like, you know, catchy, heavy parts. For me, I love playing that track Funeral Inception from the Despise the Sun EP. That's just a great song. You know, it just comes out so heavy and swinging, you know, right out of the gate. And then, I mean, like you said, Abomination Reborn is real fun to play live. That's killer. I like I don't want to keep dropping off the same record, but I love Entrails of You coming off of the self-titled Suffocation record. There's so many of them. I love playing the Effigy of the Forgotten tracks. There's a lot of satisfaction in our live set. I can't get out there and say that, oh, man, I hate playing this part of our set. Song after song after song after song is satisfying, and, seeing the crowd slamming and mosh pit and, and all that, and then stage diving and all that. We encourage all that. We want everyone to flip out. We don't want anyone to get hurt, but we want people to go as crazy as they possibly can, because the more energy the crowd puts into it, it just feeds us. And so, yeah, man, we love playing live, and I can't wait to get down there and crush for you guys, man.
And we can't wait to see you. Let me assure you, Derek, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Is there anything
now,
in
what
particular?
city are you?
We'll be visiting you in Melbourne, my friend. You'll be playing at the Corner Hotel in
awesome.
Richmond.
You gotta definitely pull me aside. Let's stock down some beers, man. You seem like a really cool guy.
Thank you, my friend. That'll be perfect. We'll get rid of some beers. That'll be brilliant.
Awesome.
We can't wait for your visit, and I've got so much I want to ask you, but time flies, unfortunately. We can't wait for you. Thank you very much for your time today, Derek. We look forward to catching up.
My pleasure, my man. Look forward to seeing you. We'll stock down some beers, and we'll crush some death metal for you.
Sounds awesome. Thank you. Take care, my friend.
Awesome, brother. Have a good night.
You too. Goodbye.
Take care.